Let's talk Coachella Valley.
I'm Conrad Negron with Tina Marks, your host for a fun show.
Informative show.
We're going to entertain, explore the Coachella Valley.
Give people a lot of knowledge, a lot of things that you have not heard about. We're going to bring it to you here.
Let's talk Coachella Valley. Tina Marks, Conrad Negron, your hosts. Well, we got another great show. We're at Perch today, filming live at Perch.
Yeah.
What a great place. You're trying to get a new oven, aren't you?
I am. I want probably the most expensive one here.
Of course, your tastes are that high.
Yeah, well, I can't help it.
You're a fashionista.
You know, every time they say, oh, you have good taste. That one's the most expensive one. I'm like, oh, thank you. Where does that get me?
It gets you nowhere.
Gets me nowhere, yeah.
Always buying the most expensive shoes. Some of these places you go out like for a purse. I've never bought a purse.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this. What?
You have like 100 purses, don't you?
No, not that many, but keep going. What were we going to say? You go out and see a person. How much?
Like a purse is like $400. $400. Is that expensive?
That's a deal for me.
Stop it.
I'm not kidding.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're in trouble. Do not follow Tina's tips.
I don't do that anymore. I don't do that. But
Okay.
Yeah,
So $400.
Well, actually, no.
I've had the same wallet for 10. What do you got going
Same
today?
wallet, yeah, and it's probably got the threads hanging out and everything else. God,
Yeah.
I can't. I don't understand when guys do that. They sit on all the time.
Makes the money look good.
Okay. Well, anyway, who do I have on today? I have a personal friend who is amazing gourmet chef. She has her own cookbook out. She actually had her own local television show here last year and has been on the Food Network. Nina Picillo.
Oh, okay.
Really excited. She's going to give us a lot of great tips for eating and all around health.
I love it. Well, I've got one of the top economists in the world, Mr. Morris Beschloss. Unbelievable story.
Say that 5 times.
Say that. Well, he corrects me very quickly. Beschloss, yes.
I know. I noticed that.
Yeah, he's good.
You still can't get it right?
I got it right. This is the first time I got it right. He wasn't here. But
Morris, where are you?
He'll be here in a few minutes. He's amazing. He works, writes for USA Today. Is also writes, and you guys have probably seen his column here in the Desert Sun. So we're going to talk energy. We're going to talk global economics and kind of get a little insight as to where the those markets are going.
I think I need to listen to that one.
I think you do.
Yeah.
Especially if you get gas and you don't look at the pump how much you're paying.
Yeah.
Do you look?
Yeah. No,
do you
I just look at the end result. I did the other day. You know what? I did. And you know what's so funny? This is I walked around to see on the big sign. They actually tell you right there at the pump.
At the pump.
Yeah.
You didn't know
my son
that?
pointed that out. Yeah.
That's really good. Maybe we can find out how gasoline prices and oil and the price of oil are correlated.
It's fascinating.
Who else you got today?
I have Jeremy Roos from Save to Give.
Yes,
yeah. It's a great organization. It helps a lot of people, and it's actually a genius idea, I think.
Actually, it is. He really doing some great things here in the Coachella Valley.
We're here at Perch,
we're
and
here.
they've got some great stuff here.
Yeah.
Great appliances, and they got bathtubs and showers and stoves and free food on Friday.
Yes. Very, very, very cool stuff. Yeah.
It'll be good. Mm-hmm. Tina, good job.
Yeah.
We're going to have a little fun. Things are going great. The Coachella Valley's buzzing, and everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back.
My tip today comes from my very first book, The Domino Effect, Fear versus Faith. And the tip is face one fear daily. And the reason that we do this is a couple of different reasons. It staves off procrastination. When you face your fear every single day, you are not procrastinating. So what happens is when we feel fear, oftentimes we don't want to deal with it, so we just kind of put it in the back burner. The longer that you don't face your fear, the bigger it becomes. The acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real, and the longer that you put that fear off, the more it does become false, because all of a sudden it's like, what if this happens? What if this happens? But if you just address it immediately, you'll find that it's really not that scary to begin with. And also, like any other muscle, you have to look at it that way. The more that you practice this every day, just like if you were to work out every day, you get stronger and stronger, and it's really not that big of a deal. When you first start working out, you're gonna come out of the gym, and you're gonna be like, oh my God, that was so difficult. But if you face one fear daily, it becomes easier and easier and easier. So that's my tip of the day. Go with it.
Fundamental difference. It's a phrase that's used a lot at Renova Solar and SunPower. It means it's not just business as usual. It means Renova worked hard to be the first nationally accredited company. It means SunPower, an American company, has more than 200 solar patents and the most advanced and efficient panels available. And it means great partners for your solar. Whether you buy or lease, Renova Solar, local, brighter, better. and fundamentally different.
What can impression design do for you?
I need a dozen embroidered polo shirts for my radio station.
We can do that.
I need 300 screen printed shirts for a school fundraiser.
We can do that.
My company's website's a mess. It looks bad and no one can find us online. Help.
We can do that.
All right, I need a new logo for my radio show. I need a new website with a shopping cart so I can sell stuff. I need business cards. I need shirts for the listeners. Basically, I need everything.
We can do that.
Begin your French adventure at Le Pont. From our wide selection of classic appetizers, followed by one of Le Pont's creative and unique entrees. And if that's not enough, our desserts will amaze you, featuring Le Pont's famous soufflé. Every dish expertly prepared for you by our famous chef Eddie Babai. Come and visit us.
I would love to cook for you.
Le Pont, a little bit of France on El Paseo.
Today we have a very special guest who I've had the pleasure of knowing for several years now. She's truly an expert in her field. She's had a local television show, Healthy Cooking with Nina Kachina on KMIR. She also has a healthy cookbook with healthy recipes. Today she's going to be giving us some health tips and letting us know what she's been up to. Welcome, Nina. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Tina. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, so there's something that I left out. Just recently, you had something, a pilot on the Food Network, National?
That's correct. That's correct. We did a pilot in October, a 4-week pilot on the Food Network. It was called Wild and Spicy with Nina Kachina. It was a really, really fun and interesting concept. It was about a healthy chef that actually went out and caught her food. So we visited a farm in Lake Elsinore. We went fishing off of San Diego. We actually even did a race show, which was kind of fun.
Yeah, I actually saw the one, the fishing show. That was amazing. You went out and caught the fish, then you came back. So it was just, that was an amazing show.
Yeah, and we actually did catch it. It did really take me time to catch it.
Well, you know what? You're in great shape, though. So I bet you didn't have any problem bringing that fish in.
It was a lot of fun. I do love to fish.
So, we had lunch last week, and we were talking about everybody is gluten-free these days. But you have taken a step further. You don't eat grain at all. Tell us.
I really don't eat grain. I stopped eating grain, let's see, I would say about 7 or 8 years ago. I did it as an experiment after doing a bunch of research on the inflammatory factors of grain. And I thought, I wonder what would happen if I stopped just for, let's say, a month. Let's try a 4-week trial. So that's exactly what I did. I had terrible, terrible headaches. I was going through major withdrawal. But in 4 weeks, I lost 4 pounds, doing nothing else. I changed nothing else. I lost 4 pounds. All of a sudden, things started happening like I had no intestinal distress. My tummy was flatter. My thinking was clearer. All of these really positive things were happening to me. So I decided I would keep that and I would instill it in family life. So I stopped feeding grain to my husband and I started developing grain-free breads and muffins and pancakes and all this kind of thing. And he started to lose weight. Of course, it's always much easier for guys. And then more and more science started coming out. And now we have books out there like Grain Brain and Wheat Belly that really explain the negative effects of grain on the human body.
How does it affect the brain?
Well, if you have any sort of brain disease, you should probably give up certainly wheat. Wheat has an enzyme in it that after it's digested can go through the blood-brain barrier and it attaches to the same neurological systems in your brain that drugs do, that alcohol does. So when I have health coaching clients that say to me, bread is my crack. Well, yeah, it really, really is. You do become addicted to it. Hence, I was addicted to it. That's why I had the headaches. And you then begin to need it. And it does not feed the brain well. The brain is made of fat. The brain needs healthy fats. And you and I were talking about that the other day as well.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so what about rice? Because, you know, I told somebody this after our lunch, and she said that, you know, people in Japan and China, they're the healthiest people in the world, and they eat tons of rice. So what would you say to that?
Well, they don't eat tons of rice. Portions are very small in the Asian culture in general. I mean, if you even see them on television, see food shows about the Asian culture, I mean, you know, the bowls are this big. In the United States, let's face it, our bowls are this big. A. B, the rice that we grow here has, a lot of it has an unbelievable amount of arsenic in it.
Okay, so I have an 11-year-old son. What do I do in the morning for toast, for muffins, for pancakes, for waffles? I mean, what would you suggest?
I would suggest some of my grain-free recipes, like the ciabatta that I sent you. He's going to love that for sandwiches. You're going to try these wonderful muffins that I brought to you today.
Yes, I can't wait.
Yeah, my lemon-scented zucchini muffins. They're all made with flaxseed and almond flour, egg white powder, so they've got a nice protein base. Because of the flaxseed, they've got lots and lots of healthy fats. So really, it's a brain food.
I full-heartedly agree with you that we are starving our brains of fat, and people don't know it. They get depressed, they're feeling lethargic. I feel like I'm always looking for the next healthy antidote or preventative medicine, and Nina, definitely we exchange information. So thank you so much for being here. It's always such a pleasure.
Pleasure. Always fun hanging out. In today's health tip, we're talking about a superfood, avocados. Avocados are pear-like fruit that are creamy and delicious, and they can be used in everything from appetizers to desserts. Yes, even desserts. These, my little coconut chocolate chewies, are avocado-based, no butter at all. And look at these nutritional benefits. In just a half a cup of avocado, you have 40% of the recommended daily allowance for fiber, 39% for vitamin K. Now, these two are both minerals, and most of us are mineral deficient. So make sure that you work avocados into your daily diet today.
Everybody, welcome. Conrad Negron here. Got a great guest today, one of the top economists in the world, Mr. Boris Beschloss. How are you, Morris?
I'm doing just fine.
It's great to see you.
It's great for you to be here.
Well, I'll tell you, I really appreciate it. We did a lot of time on the radio.
Yes, we did. And by the way, you have a great radio show, and I enjoyed the interviews that I had with you.
Well, it's very enlightening. I think a lot of our listeners, and now our viewers, want to know. So let's just get right into it. Before we get into your long look back and go forward, let's talk about the current economic conditions. Interest rates are at all-time lows. Oil has bounced back. We talked a while ago, oil was over 100. We hit the lows around 42.
Correct.
We're trading around...
May I just be more specific? You've got two types of oils. You've got West Texas Intermediate, which is what we produce here in this country, light oil. And that's the one that they usually talk about when they talk about going down to 42 and now hitting just 60, 59, somewhere in there. And then you got Brent crude, which is the rest of the world.
That's the heavy oil.
That's a heavy oil. Our oil is a light oil. And ironically, the refineries, the United States has 142 refineries. We have more refineries in the United States than the rest of the world put together.
Are they running at maximum capacity?
They are. They're not now. And one thing that the refineries are very angry about is that they are not given access of any reasonable amount to the XL oil pipeline. The XL oil, they have components of it, but most of the production that comes out of Canada, what's called the heavy oil,
those tar sands up there.
Tar sands, exactly, which is actually oil embedded in tar. They get into rail cars, and then it's a very cumbersome.
I wouldn't want to walk around there. You get tar all over your feet.
No, and you get stuck.
You get stuck in the. That's called stuck in the mud, right?
But the interesting thing about it is there's a huge inventory in Cushing, Oklahoma, and that is so overloaded right now. So every week the analysts see what the inventory level is at Cushing, and if it's up, the price goes down a little bit. If it's down, the price goes up a little bit. So it's a very cumbersome situation. Most of our oil development in the last 5 years has come from hydraulic fracturing, which is known as fracking. And the process has shifted our oil production from 3.4 million barrels a day to where this year, we're, even with cutting back because of the low price, we're still doing over 9 million. The projection is, if we were allowed to really go at it full blast in the next 5 years, it's to double that. We would dominate the world.
We dominate the world at about 10 million barrels a day. We're talking with Morris Beschloss today. What's really curious to me is the correlation between gasoline prices and oil prices. And if we look at oil at $100 a barrel, and in the Coachella Valley, it's a little bit different because it's higher price than the average. There is no correlation with oil and gas prices.
Well, there's a nominal correlation. Okay. You know, obviously, when the crude oil was at $100, there was a justification to get
the price down.
It went down, but not to the extent.
Not to the extent that it went to 40.
But also, you got the refineries involved. You've got the retail people involved. There's a lot of finagling going on between crude oil and...
No, you're not saying those markets are manipulated, are you?
I'm saying that most affirmatively.
Most affirmatively.
Yeah, exactly.
You were raised in Germany, in Nazi Germany.
I was born in Berlin, Charlottenburg, which is the capital of Germany.
And you're Jewish?
Yes.
And so you were in the Aryan nation under Hitler.
Well, let me put it this way. I was Aryanized. This is very interesting, and without going into a lot of detail, my grandmother, God bless her, her husband died. They were a very prominent family from Vienna, and her companion was the chief of staff of the German army. Because of her influence, I was in a privileged position. But also, just to show you how evil and mixed up and psychotic that whole movement was, my personal appearance at the age of 6, when I went to grade school, they looked at me and they said, "You're not Jewish, you're one of us." They had measured my cheekbones.
That's just amazing that
I'm
those things
you,
that have occurred.
I had freckles, I had a reddish blonde hair, I had a snub nose, and I was known as a fighter because I was always picking fights with people. You know, I was a little bully. And then they said there's no way they could propagandize that as being a Jewish kid. You had to be one of us.
Yeah.
They gave me Aryan papers.
Didn't Hitler touch you? Didn't you say that Hitler touched you?
Well, this is very interesting. On the way back from Venice, when he signed the Pact of Steel with Mussolini, he and Mussolini came to Berlin, and I was one of 6 kids in the school picked to salute the train as it went by. For some reason, the train stopped. They saw these 6 kids standing there, and Mussolini and his group, they called them Balila, they were the Italian version of the Hitler Youth, came out, and then to everybody's amazement, the Fuhrer personally came out, and there were 6 of us standing there, and he came up to me, patted me on the head, and shook my hand.
Wow.
And I was absolutely in 7th heaven. I mean, the great leader, the Messiah himself, I mean, I'm telling you how the feeling that you had in those days, patted me on the head, and shook my hand.
You were 6?
No, at that time, I was 8.
8?
Yeah, this was in 1937.
Who can remember what they were doing when they were 8 years old?
I'll never forget that.
So Morris, you got out of, you were able to, how old were you when you got out of Germany?
10.
You got out at 10, so you finally got out of there, and then you worked your way.
Well, my father was able to get out to Cuba because Crystal Night, which happened on November 9, 1938, they killed about 2,000 Jews at that point. They burned down all the synagogues, and this was when they really started their first horrible step toward genocide. And my father's uncle's wife was the first cousin of Governor Herbert Lehman of New York, and he got my father out by bribing Batista, who was the president of Cuba, and he paid him sent him a money transfer of $30,000.
30,000 was like 10 million.
Exactly, but the point is, God bless Herbert Lehman. We didn't even know him, but he was my uncle's wife's cousin, and Batista had a banana boat floating in the Baltic in those days, so my father became a passenger on there. And the Social Democratic Party, which did nothing, nobody did anything to stop Hitler, but they did have an underground, and they slipped unwanted people out of the country. Did a pretty good job, and they got my father to Hamburg. He was waiting there in the middle of the night. He got on the boat and got out of it. And then
unbelievable story.
My mother and my brother and I, we didn't have any problems because my mother had some very prominent uncles living in the United States, and they vouched for us. The only way you could get out at that time, you had
someone else had to vouch for you.
Three families, well-to-do, had to vouch for you, that they would take care of you, that the government would not spend one penny to support you.
Morris Beschloss, really appreciate you coming in today.
My pleasure.
We'll do it again because we got topics.
Looking forward to it.
All right, buddy. Thanks. We'll be right back.
Fundamental difference. It's a phrase that's used a lot at Renova Solar and SunPower. It means it's not just business as usual. It means Renova worked hard to be the first nationally accredited company. It means SunPower, an American company, has more than 200 solar patents and the most advanced and efficient panels available. And it means great partners for your solar, whether you buy or lease. Renova Solar, local, brighter, better, and fundamentally different.
What can Impression Design do for you?
I need a dozen embroidered polo shirts for my radio station. We can do that.
I need 300 screen printed shirts for a school fundraiser.
We can do that.
My company's website's a mess. It looks bad and no one can find us online. Help.
We can do that.
All right, I need a new logo for my radio show. I need a new website with a shopping cart so I can sell stuff. I need business cards. I need shirts for the listeners. Basically, I need everything.
We can do that.
Begin your French adventure at Le Pont. From our wide selection of classic appetizers, followed by one of Le Pont's creative and unique entrees. And if that's not enough, our desserts will amaze you, featuring Le Pont's famous soufflé. Every dish expertly prepared for you by our famous chef, Eddie Babai. Come and visit us.
I would love to cook for you.
Le Pont, a little bit of France on El Paseo.
Today we're here with an amazing man who started a company called Save to Give. His name is Jeremy Roos, and he is co-founder and founder. Welcome, Jeremy.
Hi, Tina.
Why don't you go ahead and start telling us what this fantastic organization is all about?
Essentially, Save to Give is an organization that helps schools and nonprofit organizations raise money through the daily deal business model. So similar to other companies out there, we put out deals such as 50% off a local restaurant, 50% off of a massage, whatever it is. We put it out to multiple organizations, to their own websites that we've built for them. Their supporters come.
You build the websites for them?
Yes,
okay.
We do. Their supporters come and buy the deals. They use them whenever they want, and then a portion of the proceeds goes back to the organization whom they're supporting.
So it's nonprofits and schools?
Schools and nonprofits, yes.
Charities, no?
Yeah, charities, any 501c3. We even have some 501c6s, but primarily our focus is schools. A lot of their funding has been cut the last 10 years or so. We're never going to make up that gap, but we're trying to do something.
And how did you come up with this idea?
I saw another company trying to do it, but I didn't like the way they did it. Mm-hmm. They were too focused on hard numbers, and they weren't really benefiting merchants. It was a great fundraising opportunity, but it has to make sense for the business as well.
Well, obviously, because there's you don't have a business.
Yeah, without the businesses to run the deals, mm-hmm. then there's nothing for the people to buy to support the schools.
So the percentage wasn't there for the
Right.
merchants? Okay.
Exactly.
And so is there an expiration date on?
Well, if someone buys a voucher, I mean, that's a good thing. One of the reasons we started this is if you look at traditional fundraising, people are asking parents to buy overpriced candy bars. People are asking parents to give up their weekends to do car
like
washes.
$10 for Girl Scout cookies now.
They want them to buy stuff that they don't need, that they might not want to buy. The nice thing about this is that they see all the deals in their email inbox. They don't have to buy anything. But when they see something they want to buy, they buy it. Not only are they saving money, but they can also use it at their convenience. So they don't have to go out for that dine out night, or they don't have to go to the weekend car wash. They can go get a professional car wash for half the price.
Right.
They can go, when they want to get pizza for the family, they can go out and use their pizza voucher.
Right, and still support the school or organization.
Still
or
support the
something
school
like that.
organizations.
Yeah, because we have there's the candy, and then there's the cookie dough, and I mean, yes.
Gift wrap. I mean, you name it. It's stuff that you might not necessarily need, but they kind of almost guilt you into buying it anyway.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, the parent ends up buying more of it than they're actually getting other people to buy anyway.
How are people becoming aware of you?
Well, we do have a pretty good social media presence. We've done all of this with no capital, so we've never done any extreme marketing campaigns. We've never done any radio. We've never done any television. It's all been word of mouth. It's been us, getting out there, setting up at football games. Desert Arc, who's one of our partners, we set up at their Italian festival. We set up anywhere we can. Spread the word. We usually give away a tablet or something to kind of get people over to talk to us, get their email addresses, and then we hope that they'll share the word with their friends.
Okay, and I heard that you actually auditioned for Shark Tank?
Yeah, we drove out to Vegas. They had a casting call. Got up real early in the morning, showed up half an hour before they told us to, yet we were still about 200 deep in line. Sat in a room with about 500 of our closest friends, some crazy inventions going on. People had a lot of good business ideas, and we got about 90 seconds in front of a production assistant, not any of the sharks. We pitched it. We think we did a pretty good job. Never heard back, so.
And are you local, or are you in other states as well? Or?
We do. We're mainly focused in the Coachella Valley. We do have a presence in the Lexington, Kentucky area.
Yeah, because I was going to say this could go anywhere.
It is. The way we do it is we have our main hub website, and then we build each organization their own site. So, for example, we have the American Heart Association. They have their own website, their own domain name. It has American Heart Association logos. Similar things with Desert Arc. Any of the schools, it all has their colors and logos, but we can build as many of these sites as we want. So we have a presence in Kentucky, a little bit of a presence in San Diego, Temecula, Redlands. We're trying to grow these areas as well.
Right. You know what? It sounds like a trifecta. Actually, there's a trifecta. Is there anything for 4? I don't know. Because you win as the business, the organization wins, the merchant wins, and who's ever selecting the item wins.
Exactly.
Because they get to, so it sounds that's an amazing idea.
I think in horse racing it'd be a superfecta.
Superfecta. I love that. I love everybody helping one another. So how do people get in touch with you?
The easiest way is just to go either to our Facebook page or our website, which is savetogivedeals.org.
Okay.
That's with the number 2. The same thing on Facebook. It's just Save to Give. We've got over 500 followers, so we're doing okay. They can reach out through the website and get in contact with me if you're a merchant that wants to run a deal, if you're an organization that wants to get involved, or if you just want to sign up to support somebody and get some great deals.
Or if there's any sharks out there that want to come on board, huh? How
Absolutely.
about that?
We're always open to talking to potential business partners and seeing if there's a way we can collaborate, as long as we're doing what we want to do, which is to help the community.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you, Tina. Thank you for having me.